Good morning, everyone. Excuse me. Again, I'm Bob Land. I'm a part of a 10-person executive team at Dorel, Juvenile. And I've condensed a 100-page deck into 15. So I have only 15 minutes with you guys. So first, I just do a quick context. This is me in 1974. That's not me. That was the only picture I could find because all of mine had food on my face. But I was in the Navy for a little bit where they gave me a secret clearance, but I started getting really digital. And then that's just proof that in '95, like we all dressed like Steve Jobs. We all had the round glasses and the sweater and stuff like that. So I've been doing this for e-commerce and digital marketing in one form or another for about 25 years now, launching CVS.com in '99 or 2000, which is hilarious, launching a .com at a company that really doesn't care. We were a D store, like their lowest level store, so we weren't even invited to the meetings, which is kind of fun. I'm a professor of e-commerce at Dean in my local town. I worked for many years at Polaroid, so I use all these pieces of context. So Polaroid was an interesting one that we actually had a digital business, and we, sales-wise, had the most digital cameras by sales in the world at the time. It was internal that we couldn't walk away from film that we made 70 points of margin on to digital where we had single points of margin. The company just couldn't pivot in time. Also, Everest Poker, which is a company that we sold when poker was hot to the Principality of Monaco, which is a whole other different story. Also, like lids.com launched the online program when we had about 25 stores and grew it to about 400 stores. If anyone's a ball cap fan like I am, we had a lot of good times at Lids. So that's kind of the context, big companies. There's also 6 startup companies that are on there, that are not on there, that I kind of do in between. So my whole role has been to just, I look at it as like I make people rich, whether they're big or small. I'm kind of the guy that comes in and just changes everything, kicks over the apple carts and starts completely new things, starts a shadow IT group, that kind of thing. So has anyone heard of Dorel before today? A couple of people. Oh yeah, that makes sense. A few people. There's a lot of Dorels out there. So these are typically privately held, even though we are private, owned by a family. But some of these companies are $2 billion to $10 billion you've never heard of before, but you've really heard of their brands. We're split up into 3 divisions, and our brands you probably do recognize. So this is about half of the list. So it's an interesting mix of baby gear, bikes, and furniture, right? So what's really difficult for me is it goes from opening price point products to premium products, right? So in a brand like Safety First, we're selling, 2-cent outlet protectors for your house, little plastic bits, all the way up to $15,000 and $20,000 carbon fiber bikes. So it's a hell of a wide range. Kid Tracks is my favorite out of all of them. Those are little ride-on little things for kids. So today I'm only going to focus on Maxi-Cosi, but my lens is all the brands, right? So how do I do what I'm going to show you today for Maxi-Cosi and really have all these brands benefit, right? How can they all be part of the consumer journey? Because they are. If you think about all these brands, they've touched you in kind of different areas of your life, either when you have a baby and you're buying car seats, but when those kids need their first bike, maybe, they're 4, 5, 6 years old, why can't I send you a great offer for your kid's first Schwinn bike? That kind of thing. And then get you all the way through our GT and Cannondale lines, sell you furniture for your dorm room or for your first apartment, and kind of complete the cycle too. So that's the lens, but we're going to focus on Maxi-Cosi. Has anyone heard of the Maxi-Cosi brand in here? A few people, okay. It's only like 25% awareness in the US, which is really interesting. It's kind of our challenge. It's the #1 car seat brand in the world, but it's mostly in Europe. They have a 70% market share in Europe. They call car seats Maxi-Cosis in Europe. So that's a challenge. And our Dutch leadership there are always saying, why aren't you pushing more Maxi-Cosi car seats? And so we said, hold on. This is a bit of a journey for us. We just kind of inherited this brand. Probably a decade ago, we inherited this brand. And they just said, yeah, it'll just sell. Like, don't worry about it. It's awesome. If you've ever felt a Maxi-Cosi car seat, they're the softest car seats, super safe. They're beautiful. We do designer collections. Like, why wouldn't you buy this car seat? So our challenge here has been really distribution. You know, it doesn't really fit for any kind of mass channel. It fit for Babies R Us, but Babies R Us went out of business, which was also a challenge. So oddly, for this whole transformation, we started with e-commerce. We started with our Amazon business. We were only doing like $5 million. I came to the company in 6 years ago, and we first brought in a new CEO who changed out half the executive team. That's kind of like the first move, right? And then we just started building from there. We built the Amazon business as a corporation to well over $200 million. So it's kind of like we took everything we learned there and we used the money to self-fund D2C. So now that kind of plate is spinning. Then we actually, it seems like we're just being delayed, right? We stop and build a whole e-commerce business with, meaning like all the back-end systems, the logistics, revamping our warehouses, you know, really modernizing everything. Then since e-commerce is very difficult to forecast, and Amazon's an interesting partner, and so is Walmart, we had to form marketplaces, really to deal with all the excess inventory. And so now that's a $15 million little kind of outlet. So we look at marketplaces as kind of letting out the steam out of the business, and now we can do D2C. So we've got all kind of the pieces in place in order to build this. Maxi-Cosi is now the first brand to be the real recipient of a lot of all these new changes. So the big one is we used to market to babies. Like every photo that we would have online would be really cute babies. And everyone reacts well to babies. So we had tons and tons of cute ones on there. But really, it's a sea of babies compared to all of our competitors, which is kind of, it's fun, it's nice, but it really doesn't differentiate. Just a couple months ago, we brought in a new digital agency. We've never had a digital agency. We brought in a creative agency. We've never had a creative agency before. And really, we're marketing towards parents and really helping them out. All of our products really just help the parent out. Like the baby will be fine, but really it's parents wondering, is their life going to completely change? It is, but it doesn't really have to be. It doesn't have to be as bad as some of their friends have told us. So if you want, I encourage you to go to Maxi-Cosi.com and look at the video on the homepage. It's brand new work. It's our first pass, but it is really focused on just parenting, just the act of parenting. We love it. So I'm going to show you a little bit of behind the scenes. So I bet that there's some software up here that you guys probably haven't seen, but this is kind of my pathway through the giant Lumascapes that are out there, right? Some of them are legacy systems that I just have to deal with. Like Oracle is the bane of my existence. It goes against every software purchasing decision that I've ever made. I think only because it's 3 versions old. Like the corporation has never spent time to do the proper upgrades, and now we're kind of in a difficult position. But everything up there has an API, so that's one of the things I look for. Everything talks to each other, right? So I can pull out any one of them as I find a different vendor and plug them back in. I'm responsible for the first 3 circles, so e-commerce sales, whether that's D2C or retailers, all our digital marketing, and then consumer care. And so I insisted on that piece because, to me, that's where brands are built these days. So anything that I do in e-commerce and digital marketing and new products comes from insights from consumer care. So what I'm doing now is tying it all together. Does anyone either have a CDP or is in the market for one in here? Ooh. So CDPs are kind of the next level CRM systems, kind of like on steroids, where I can take input from anywhere out there, all of my social websites, my consumer care business, really anywhere, ingest it into the system, and then it's like a trigger or drip marketing system that is really, really tuned. It is really going to be the thing that we grow with and how we expand using some machine learning like across all the rest of the brands. This is the journey. So has anyone heard of Salsify in here? Oh, a few more Salsify users. We were their 3rd customer. I didn't know we were the third customer. I thought we were like their 15th customer or so. But the founders were really slick, and so we were their first. Really, that is, 2014 when we all kind of arrived, is just get the product data in order. If you flip this order, it's really, really difficult to produce anything. So once we got the product information in order, now we can produce websites, landing pages, anything, really super easily. But then you see at the bottom is Jira. The company didn't have a product management system. So as you can kind of see the list progress, we've got omni-channel software. BlueVen is the CDP vendor that we've just chosen out at the end, where we're weaponizing the data. But what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about is I'm just going to focus on Clarabridge. Does anyone use Clarabridge in here? Or has been part of your vendor searches at all? Clarabridge is really in a very cool space. But which space is it? I don't think we really know. They're in 4 Forrester waves. So are they a customer feedback management platform, an AI-based text analytics platform, AI-fueled speech analytics solution, or a social suite? I don't know. I don't think we really even looked at that. But let's see. All we know is it ingests all of this information, right? All of my emails from the call center, chat transcriptions, all the online feedback. So every review that we have out there, we have tens of thousands of reviews. Anything that we have internally, we have multiple consumer data warehouses. We just released our first Internet of Things baby monitor that has its own consumer database. So individual databases like that all come back into this one system. And it's not just our data, it's all of our competitors' data. So it's a massive amount of data coming back in. But I'll show you what it does and then what the output is. So it matches our structured data, right? That's the stuff we know, name, address, and age maybe, age of babies, like that kind of thing. With the unstructured data, the things that person might be saying online if they're logged in, and it takes these verbatims, so these little sentences, and starts breaking it up for us, right? So no more word clouds, right? Because that was very difficult for us to ingest as a product team. It could be the word fit, and it could be in red. We say, all right, fit is a problem. What's going on with fit? But for car seats, is it the fit of the car seat in the car or the fit of the baby in the car seat? So it really wasn't direct enough for us. And what we needed to know was the context. So this is the context. This one sentence has a couple different pieces in it, right? Phone service is good, but the website's very frustrating. So I know I have to parse that out in different pieces, right? Service good, frustrating website, right? And kind of it helps me start parsing it out. This piece is now taking all of the unstructured data and adding structure, right? We stick it all into envelopes, these little folders everywhere. And this is stuff that probably has taken us the most time to do. This is all product managers, customer service people. Most of these systems take a lot of work up front, whether it's Salsify or really any of these systems. To stand them up is a lot of work, but I'll show you the benefit of that we're now seeing. This whole idea of using machine learning and humans is my model. That's the only model that I'll go with and buy any of our software, right? I don't believe in just turning on chatbots. We tried that a little bit. Salesforce has one. And it works a heck of a lot better when you have a human interfacing with it and tuning it. There's a company called Interactions. Does anyone know Interactions in here? That'd be interesting. No. We're one of the leading call center automation software companies out there. And they have a center that you could visit that has screens, and they have students, actually from Dean College, sitting in the room, and you hear these verbatims come in from their call center. They do Hilton, they do a lot of big hotel chains. And the kids take Spanglish and all these other like sentence fragments, and they map them all. And then the machine learns over time. If it's been mapped a few times, now the machine knows. So that's the interesting model. The output, we have voice of consumer dashboards for us on the executive team. So everything gets surfaced to the executive team. We have monitors all around the company, cafeterias. So everybody has a read on what's happening in the company. And then the bit of the output that's been amazing is the Magellan car seat. This is like a grounds up development. The best car seat goes from like 5-pound kid to a 100-pound kid. The first IoT monitor, like the best in the industry. And strollers like this that might look normal, just like any other stroller, but it's built from 100% recycled bottles. Because we're already ahead of that whole thing. There's a lot of baby gear in the landfills, and we're already ahead of that. So after we launch these products, the feedback cycle, this is like our canary in the coal mine. As you can see, this starts with a kind of a word cloud. Canopy on this infant seat might be difficult. So we look at this and we say, wow, the red are all the complaints coming in. The blue is the production. Does anyone know what an andon cord is? From like old, like Toyota manufacturing, right? It's still like alive today. Amazon is keeping it alive, and so is Dell Computer. But anyone can pull an andon cord and say, stop the line, which we've never done before. We make a running change, and then as you see, the red just all goes away. So the last note here is I want to just talk about, it's not just about the product, it's product plus services. So if you buy a baby car seat, we wrap it in services now. One of our top calls was how do I install this car seat? It was an hour-long call. We do tens of thousands of them because that's the tough part, right? Installing it in your car seat. And we said, well, why don't we just see if they have a phone and we'll just do FaceTime with them? So we started it about a year ago. We keep it a private service. It's like an escalation. You call in, and then we say, okay, the best thing to do is we'll get that car seat, call us back in 15 minutes, and we'll do a session. So we're literally looking over the parent's shoulder and seeing if they install the car seat. And we've done like 20,000 of them, even though we haven't really advertised it. Salsify chat, that's where we are actually doing chat out on the retailer's websites. So they have one last question. Does this car seat go with this base, let's say? And now they can ask us directly out on the retailer's website. Partner services too. You get a car seat now, and we'll give you 2 free cleanings for the car seat. Just bring it to one of our partner locations. Or we'll give you a discount on all the accessories that go with that. And then the personalization part is really cool. And this is kind of like, we thought it was only the land of native D2C brands, but it's really not. We do personalized notes out the door. Whenever you buy direct right now from Maxi-Cosi.com, someone will write a note to you. It's usually a note of kind of inspiration. We actually did this with the employees' kids one time that were hilarious. But you get this kind of whole experience now. And the bottom line is we're linking the consumer care database to the marketing database, right? They're not separate at all. It's all kind of one thing. So we really, really get to know you because that's the frustrating part, right? You've called us. Why are we sending you an email about the product that you had a problem with the same day? So all of that was disjointed, but it's all coming together now. And when it comes together, it all works. We've been Walmart's Omnichannel Supplier of the Year, which is a big deal considering how many suppliers they have. And we win tons of awards. This is good really for the internal teams, right? They get validation every day when they make customers happy, but this helps kind of on top of that. So that's all I have in my 10 minutes. So
Bob, thank you so much. Hold your questions for Bob.
Oh, right.
Because we're going to, Bob,